Everybody is seeking saving in something outside of them. I want you to really sit with how that lands in your body when I say that, because you may want to defend against it. Well, I'm not, I'm independent, or I'm doing my own thing, or I don't really care. Get underneath those layers. Get to the truth because everybody's seeking saving in something outside of them, be it through money or a job or a career or binging TV or shopping or obsessing or ruminating or overthinking or hating on the patriarchy or dating, or especially women, sweet women, the way that you allow yourself to be infantilized by men, the way you seek saving in men and then hate on them. It's such a sticky subject that's like 15,000 different videos of how we have to unpack all of that rage, all of that confusion, all the ways that we seek safety in a man outside of ourselves. And yet we all do it in some capacity or another. We are all seeking safety and saving from something outside of us because we've never been taught how to be with ourselves, like how to anchor into our bodies and be with ourselves. We seek saving in our spiritual practices, in priestesses and goddesses, and this whole like, I love the sacred temples. I love the goddesses. I love learning about the history of all of this, but I see women pedestaling it, making it more important than the now. Once upon a time, this is how magical and fairy tale like it was. Make your life a fairy tale now. How are you showing up now? Stop having romantic nostalgia about the past and create that romantic beauty in your life now. We seek saving in so many different ways. And one of the pinnacles of my work is guiding you home to you in ways you've never dreamed possible. So you stop seeking saving outside of yourself, including from your own brain and your own mind and your own brain's desire to keep you safe. Welcome to the Yarrow Kae Way of healing, expanding, spiritually transforming, and mastering energetics. I am your host, Yarrow Kae, spiritual teacher, nervous system genius, leadership mentor, clinically trained therapist, and all-around energetic sorceress, which just means I'm a master of energetics. And energetics never lie. So everything is energy, and you are creating as an energetic being in all moments. And the more you're reaching outside of yourself, what do you think you're creating? Distance between yourself and you. Think about that. You're creating distance from yourself. You're reaching outside. And so you're perpetuating this grasping, this attaching, this anchoring to something outside of you to save you, even if it's your own desires. One of the things I really dislike about the manifestation world is that people will be like, every version of you exists in all different at once, right? Like for right now, in the present, this is why it's so funny with the priestesses and everybody idealizing that time. That is existing right now. Time is an illusion. Every facet, every part of you, every version of you exists all right now. And so people will say, well, that version of you who has that desire already exists. And then what we do is we pedestal that version of us, which then creates a gap between ourselves and that version of us, which then creates a gap between ourselves and our desires, which also creates a gap between yourself and the now, because nothing matters more than right now in this moment. Right now, me in this chair talking to you, being filmed with my sweet cat Aslan in my lap, like nothing matters more than right now. Because right now, and the energy I'm committing to and anchoring into right now is what creates the next moment. But time's an illusion, so it all exists all at once, anyways. And what a mind fuck is that? So, being human is a wild journey. It's a wild trip, man. And we are always seeking saving outside of ourselves. So just take a minute and think about the world. Think about how people operate, how people talk, how people interact, how people connect or don't connect. And we are so taken by our phones at this moment in time that we're just like constantly scrolling, right? So constantly going outside of ourselves. What does it feel like when you stop and you breathe into your body? How many thoughts come up? What do those thoughts say? What do you reach for in moments of vulnerability or discomfort? Do you reach for your phone? Do you reach for a thought process? Do you obsess? Do you ruminate? Do you binge TV? Do you drink? Do you smoke pot? Do you perpetuate stories and narratives that are trying to keep your body feeling safe, that are actually just keeping you stuck because they're protective? I did an entire workshop on this last night for my 6 or 12 month group, The Portal, group mentorship program, The Portal. We spoke about crafting your vision from your authentic self and then holding the vibration of receiving it. And we went deep into the protective patterns we have that actually affect us from being able to receive, because it is a vulnerable state to allow yourself to receive. It's a vulnerable state that you actually have to trust yourself. You have to trust that you can hold your own power in that receiving. And there are so many dimensions that happen within that, right? So think about when you receive, you might feel guilty, you might feel shame, you might feel obligated to the other person if you're receiving something. Can you hold the emotional maturity and responsibility of receivership? That's a really big question. If you can't, then you're being run by an inner child, and your inner child is seeking saving in something outside of you. Because everyone is looking for saving in something outside of them. It may be through money or your career. If you're a man, especially, money or career is huge. Or exercising vanity, the way your body looks, receiving certain amounts of attention, your ego. Or it could be through seeking saving in a relationship, seeking saving in a man. Women are infantilized all the time. We're constantly infantilizing a woman is like things that women actually desire. I want a man to be a safe space for me and to hold that safe space for me. It's beautiful to want that safe space. The need for it, if it's coming from this need place, that is an inner child place, and that's you looking for a dad. It's not, and notice I said dad and not daddy, because there's something hot and sexy about daddy. That's you looking for a dad. That's you looking for a father. That's you looking for someone to make sure your world is safe. That, my sweet, beautiful girl, is up to you. When you create safety in your own world, you never seek safety outside of you again. When you create safety in your own world, you never seek safety outside of you again. We don't like that answer. It's very triggering. We want to make excuses, but men do this, but they should do that, but they should show up this way, but this is how it should be. Really? Who's saying that? Because me, as an autonomous, sovereign, independent, internally safe woman, I don't want to feel beholden to any man to make me feel anything. I want to be lit up, feel excited, feel connected, feel Eros energy. Maybe we have a hard conversation. I want to feel autonomous within that hard conversation. I want to feel like I can say a thing I need to say. And if he decides to leave because of that, that I'm not going to fall apart. That my safety is not tied up in this man. And I spent a lot of years doing a deep inner work to get to the energetics of feeling that level of internal safety, where I no longer shame myself because my life doesn't look like it quote unquote should. I no longer ruminate or obsess or make it mean anything about me because of what a man is doing. And then I have better discernment, and I have juicier, more connected, more alive relationships that are based upon true unconditional love, which love is freedom. This doesn't mean it's devoid of commitment. This isn't like, oh, we willy-dilly, all nilly-nilly do whatever we want. That's not at all what I'm saying. There is a difference between absolving yourself of responsibility and running around with puer and puella energy, which is a term from Carl Jung. It's the eternal girl and the eternal boy. It's not eternal girl and eternal boy energy. It's anchored wisdom and discernment around what feels good and what doesn't, what I desire and what I don't, and being able to act from that place. And that is an embodied, powerful woman who's not seeking saving outside of herself. And a man who's not seeking saving outside of himself, he doesn't need a ton of attention from a bunch of women. He's able to anchor into love in his heart and to show up in adoration to a woman who lights his soul on fire and makes him feel deeply in his whole being. And we are not functioning this way. We're addicted. We're running in circles. We're chasing our tail. We're seeking saving outside of ourselves. And then we're calling it seeking union and devotion and divine cosmic love. I call bullshit. Or we're like, oh, I'm just that my I can't even say this. My childhood was so chaotic that I'm just perpetuating chaos. And so this healthy relationship feels boring, but it's actually good for me. I don't care if that's true because, yes, I am a clinically trained therapist. I understand all the things. Come at me if you want to. Trust me, I've thought of them all. Sure, do some people's nervous systems seek chaos? Yesterday, I called a client out for it. She's doing super well. She's on the rise financially, digging herself out of a hole. And then she wanted to throw a financial shitstorm on top of it by getting another animal. And I was like, absolutely not. Because sometimes I have to be the discerning, wise parent with my clients. Absolutely not. We are not doing that. But I feel and I love that is little girl energy. Embodied woman energy is I've got my shit together. Everything's in order. I'm not going to create chaos. So her addictive state is to create chaos, to spin herself out. And so we have to anchor her back into connection and being a sovereign woman and leader in her life. That is different than being in a relationship that bores you to tears, but you're telling yourself you should be in it because your nervous system's just used to chaos. A relationship that makes you feel alive. And listen, if you're together 10 years, 20 years, of course, there are going to be ebbs and flows, right? If you're in the beginning of a relationship and you're bored to tears and you're telling yourself it's just because you're used to something crazy, let's reassess that. Because even in relationships that aren't wrought with chaos, you want to feel excited, expansive. There are so many mundane things in life. Please do not make passion and love one of them because they are not. We are meant to feel alive. And if you're not feeling alive, you're numbing yourself out because you're seeking saving outside of yourself because you feel terrified to be with the emotions you need to be with to actually come home to yourself and anchor in and trust in the divinity of you. One of my clients recently did a Vipassana and she kept writing about the addictions and like how addicted we are afterwards. And I responded and I said, so did it make you think about, what we talk about? And she was like, oh my God, Yarrow. She's like, I just kept thinking, this is what Yarrow's going on about all the time. Yes, we are massively addicted, and being addicted and seeking saving outside of yourself, literally the same thing. We are not taught this. We're taught, oh, addiction, like drug addiction or like alcoholism or porn addiction, maybe, or sex addiction. Like we go to all these other addictions. Anything that has an addictive charge to it can be an addiction, like I was saying at the beginning. Your spiritual practices could be, your dating could be, your sex life could be, your obsessive thinking, your ruminating, your overthinking, your grasping on for validation, all could have an addictive charge. Meditating could have an addictive charge. Yoga could have an addictive charge. In fact, I dedicated to being a full-time healer, which has now expanded into spiritual teacher, mentor, leadership mentor, energetics master, self-mastery. But I anchored into this path in 2014 because I was on a psychedelic mushroom journey and I was thinking about my yoga students and how addicted they were to the yoga and how detrimental it was to their being. And I was like, I have to help people break away from these addictions. We have to come back to ourselves. We have to anchor back into the divinity of who we are. It's making me teary. We have to stop seeking outside. And trust me, the universe has taken me on transformation after transformation after transformation after dark night of the soul and dark night of the soul and like really put me through it and spit me out the other side so that I can guide you to it without you having to go through so much pain and torture. Really, it was like torture, truly. And I can guide you there. You have to be willing to look at all of the ways you're seeking outside of yourself because they're innumerable. And we are so sneaky that we will tell ourselves we're not. Now, one of the reasons I decided to do this particular video is that I was watching some woman's content last night, and she's someone who's speaking about divine union. She's speaking about the divine feminine. She's speaking about women being adored. There's this subtle validation through the threaded through all of her content where she's actually validating women's need for a man. She's validating women's rage at the patriarchy. Now, stay with me. Women have every reason in the world to have that sacred rage. The path forward is not to make men pay. And there was this kind of subtle energy of like, men have dishonored women for so long, they should now just be in full service to women. And I was like, I think that's what got us here in the first place. Like, once upon a time, women were the holders of the money, they were the oracles, the seers, the priestesses. And I think that the better than, less than of men and women is what keeps us in this power struggle. It's the, oh, women are in charge, or men are in charge, oh, women are in charge, oh, men are in charge, oh, women are better, oh, men are better. That's what's keeping us in this perpetual cycle. We are staying in this loop because we're making ourselves better than or less than. The path forward is equality, which equality is not what 70s feminism claimed it was. It's recognizing the brilliance and the beauty of each individual human, no matter what your gender, and what energetics at your unique energetic blueprint and what that's meant to bring into the collective. Now, if we're looking at divine feminine, divine masculine, if you were birthed into this world as a woman, and you identify with being a divine feminine woman, which I do. I'm very feminine. I'm very like of the woman beauty, dancing nature, diving deep into the darkness and the surrender of the unknown. Like, I embody that really powerfully. If you're someone who does, then learning to hold a man in unconditional love and to his divinity as your equal, as your partner, that's the key. And though in this woman's content, she was kind of saying that, but there was an energy that said otherwise. There was an energy of, I am goddess, bow at my feet, which sure, we like that sometimes. That's fun. But it's not actually going to get us to equality and divine union. And that is what this earth is asking. It's asking for unconditional love and divine union. And divine union means equal. It doesn't mean better than or worse than. And until we can get to that point, we're going to be in a perpetual power struggle, which will create more and more suffering. And the only path to that is by you recognizing all of the millions of things that you are seeking saving in. So maybe make a list of them. I promise you it will be more extensive than you think it will be. And if you need help with this, join my world, because this is what we do. So you are constantly seeking saving outside of yourself. It could just be in stories, in content that you're like, oh yeah, I feel so seen in that content. But you don't actually want to do the work to move things through your body, right? You don't actually want to do the work to move things through your body, to shift how you're relating, to get honest about the ways you're grasping outside of yourself and really anchor into yourself and your energetic vibration and the immense power of it. And power is not force, power is not control. Power is like this all encompassing feeling of like, I'm held, I'm supported, I've got this. It's again making me teary. We will give our power away so quickly through that seeking saving outside of ourselves, through people pleasing, fawning, flight, freeze, all of these different ways, procrastination, self sabotage, which is really just all of these are ways of safety. Unworthiness, which is also a mechanism of safety. If you think you're unworthy, then you're just really actually grasping on for safety outside of yourself. Once you actually know you're infinitely worthy and you belong no matter what, you operate at a different level, a different frequency. And that actually creates a very different reality in your life. And when you know you're that worthy and you know you belong, you help others feel safe to belong as well. Now, here's the thing. People will wrangle against that belonging because they will be rigidly attached to that unworthiness story, to that not belonging story, because that's their identity. So, whatever identity you or someone else is walking through the world with, you're going to have to feel safe to shed that identity, to embody a new identity, to anchor into your being, and to trust in the pure wisdom and divinity of who you are on this planet. And that's every single one of us. There is not one of us who's exempt from needing to do the work to shed the layers, the conditioning, the societal beliefs, the trauma coded into our nervous systems, the perceptions, the stories, the victimhood, the ways of relating to the world that actually just keep us stuck and perpetuate old ways of being. And so many of that is the ways that we seek saving outside of ourselves, that we seek safety, the stories that we tell that feel very safe to our nervous systems, and shifting those out of scarcity, survival, and contraction into connection, abundance, and expansion, so that you feel safe to be lit up and filled with joy and pleasure and allow life to be fun no matter what is happening. Like being able to dig in and be like, what's the juiciness of this moment right now? What am I meant to learn? What's alchemizing through me? What's alive for me? Am I in deep pain? Can I allow that to be a beautiful moment without making it wrong, without suffering, without letting the stories grip onto me? When I am caught in an addictive cycle, do I have the ability to bring myself back to myself, to calm my body, and to be like, I am safe no matter what? All is well no matter what. Am I willing to look at the ways that I am still abdicating my power to a man, especially if you're a woman? Am I looking at the ways I'm abdicating my power to a woman if you're a man? Am I looking at the ways I'm abdicating my power to my addictions? This one's really alive for both men and women, but women will do it more through seeking a man. Men will do it more through money, work, porn. Like, am I looking at where I'm abdicating my power from the vast brilliance and wisdom of me, from where I am acting as an eternal boy or eternal girl, and not anchoring into the divinity of my ancient wisdom and the legacy that I am meant to create on this planet? We have so much healing to do around this. There is a union that is desiring to be created, and right now we're still in a power struggle with men and women. Men should lead, women should do this. It's actually women lead, the egg chooses the sperm and energetically guides the sperm to her. And women are so disembodied from this power. And then when we are anchored into this power, it often has a sense of control, manipulation, and better than. It is meant to be divine, unconditional, cosmic love, which means holding a man to his divinity. And then men are rebelling against the control. And women can't see that men are rebelling against the control. So they're grasping harder, or they're, projecting and blaming, and men are continuing to rebel, or they're feeling unworthy and they actually don't know how to show up. There's so much healing that needs to happen here. So when we're looking at how do I anchor back into myself, how do I stop seeking saving, you first have to get honest about how you're doing it, all the different ways you're doing it, how often you're doing it, and then every single time you do it, you bring your hands to your body, you breathe, and you come home to yourself, which could be 8,000 times a day. I'm not even exaggerating. You will start to uncover how often you are seeking saving outside of yourself once you start to do this level of inner work to come back to the purity of your energetic vibration and the divinity of you. And then you have to look at all the stories you tell, all the projection you have, all the blame you're doing, where your ego gets activated. So you start with getting honest, and then you develop practices that are going to bring you home to you. And then you really do need a mirror, someone to be like, hey, I see you're doing it here, or hey, you're doing it here. And it's so normalized in our world that it's going to feel really activating. You're like, oh my God, Yarrow, everything I do is wrong. Initially, yes. And then once you start to learn the system, because it is a system that rewires your nervous system. My work guides your nervous system to feel like it's dripping in gold. So it is a system. The Yarrow Kae Way is a system that rewires your nervous system out of scarcity, survival, contraction, and seeking saving into connection, abundance, expansion, pleasure, joy, and play. And it's effective. And it goes against everything you've ever been told in society, because you are no longer seeking saving outside of yourself. You become the source of safety. You become anchored into the deepest unknown and void you've ever known, so that you can just create your life from a joyful, playful place. You become the composer of your life, which is one of my programs. So if you'd like to dive deeper into this, I have 3 different ways you can do it. Yarrow Kae Way Mystery School, which is to it's only for women, embody your divine feminine power, master yourself and master your energetics. It's 6 months long, and the portal is included in it. There's only one spot left. The portal is my 6 or 12-month group mentorship program. Monthly themes, beautiful, powerful group of humans doing this work together. We have 3 live calls a month. You have a Telegram channel with me, like such a potent place to land. And it is 333 until a month. Until next month, it goes up to 555 a month. So you have one more month to get in at 333. And then the composer, which is going to start mid-April. That is 8 weeks, a sacred chrysalis designed to set you free. This is like the bones of the Yarrow Kae Way. It is the structure. It is the actual rewiring of the nervous system. And then everything after that is the deeper anchoring in. So let me know if you have questions. Leave a comment below, message me on Instagram. Thank you all for listening. Take time to come home to yourself today.